What's up, guys? Back over at Dave's. It's definitely a good day to be here. Got these more raining red stripe to atomic stuff. It's one real cool visual on the right, and then a het rain mortar on the left. All the hets have some pretty bold striping too. They should turn out pretty nice. Everybody seemed to like the fat tails, so we got a lot of live feeding. I was feeding supers to a lot of the problem feeders, and some of the breeding females. We give them to them just as a treat, just to keep them nice and plump throughout the breeding season. But this season was actually the first time I got to see a African fat tail hatch. I did get to see some youngsters, and I even got to bring home a young Oreo last year. But this was one of the first really cool visual whiteouts. It's het for patternless. Just got such awesome color, a ton of blue in the tail. It's probably one of my favorite things with the African fat tail morphs is the blue that comes in on the tails. This one's definitely got a pretty stripped down pattern compared to some of the older ones. Here's a younger one just like it, same genetics. This one was hissing at me a lot. They seem to tame out real fast, and like I said before, they're not so flighty, so they're a little bit easier to work with. Versus a leopard gecko, where they really want to just bolt every chance they get. You really got to kind of confine them in the beginning to get them to chill out. So like I said, yesterday was the first time I ever got to see a gargoyle hatch, and then we caught this one. It was pippin first thing this morning, and then I did get to see the thing all the way out at the end of the day. I was gonna try to record the whole thing, but the last one took almost 4 hours, and this one took about the same, about 3.5, 4 hours to hatch. Most of these guys love their supers. I have noticed with the African fat tails, they seem to you can't really taunt them like a leopard, where you can eventually convince them to eat what you're trying to give them. They are either interested or they're not for the most part. Now the only reason we don't separate these guys is because a lot of times, just like with a snake, if you try to pull them out of their enclosure and then feed them, you've already stressed them out, so it's not always so easy to get them to eat, and especially with the problem feeders, we really don't want to disrupt all. So we just try to referee a little bit and keep them from going after each other's worms or getting a hold of each other. Even some of these females are pretty vicious, even when they're in there trying to lay eggs. That's the only downside to these rubber-tipped tongs. They really seem to go after the tip of them. I do like these regular metal ones better. Sometimes they'll get a hold of the rubber and have a hard time letting go. Like I said, once you get somebody stepping in, I mean, they occasionally they do nip each other, but you just try to do your best to keep them separated. I try to lure one away from the other if I can. Normally I do much better, but because I'm videotaping this, it's kind of hard. This one to get a hold of the other one for a second. Now it all depends case by case whether or not we completely separate them on their own. But I've noticed with a lot of geckos, if they've grown up their whole life with cage mates, it's not always the greatest idea, even if they're starting to get skinny. If it's not because of the other geckos, you might actually do more harm separating them. You can see this girl's got the whole thing dug out right now. And she's still taking worms. These guys will also take roaches. We do supplement them with roaches, dubia roaches in between. But we have quite a few supers right now, and they got plenty of fat and protein, so they're just as good. Maybe not just as good, but we use them also. This is one of my favorites right here, and I believe this is going to be the last clip. This is the Agramanu. He was doing a little bit of tail wagging, and I don't think I really got it on tape too well. He definitely loves the super worms. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow both of us on Facebook, Dave's House of Reptiles and Morph Magic. I do put a lot of pictures up that you won't get to see on here. We will be at Oaks at the end of the month, so if you guys are local, definitely come check us out.